Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Apologise for my absence, but I was travelling. Let me start with some home thoughts. Jerusalem. Jerusalem is one of the oldest cities in the world. It was named as Urusalima on ancient Mesopotamian cuneiform tablets, probably meaning city of Shilling, after a Canaanite deity during the early Canaanite period. During the Israelite period, significant construction activity in Jerusalem began in the 9th century, and in the 8th century, the city developed into the religious and administrative center of the Kingdom of Judah. It is considered a holy city in the three major Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Listen to this. During its long history, Jerusalem has been destroyed at least twice, besieged 23 times, attacked 52 times, and captured and recaptured 44 times. The part of Jerusalem called the City of David was settled in the 4th millennium BCE. In 1538, walls were built around Jerusalem under Suleiman the Magnificent. Today, those walls define the old city, which has traditionally been divided into 4 quarters, known since the early 19th century as the Armenian, the Christian, the Jewish, and the Muslim quarters. The old city became a World Heritage Site in 1981 and is on the list of World Heritage in Danger. So this is a pretty important development that President Trump is proposing. No US president up to now has wanted to risk it because there is no upside in doing it. Mr. Trump, Jerusalem is a red line for Muslims, Erdogan said in a speech at Parliament in Ankara on Tuesday. This could lead us to break off our diplomatic relations with Israel. Abbas warned that moving the embassy would imperil his effort to restart peace talks, which had been led by his son-in-law Jared Kushner and his Mideast envoy Jason Greenblatt. The Saudis on Tuesday called the expected move unjustified, US bias that disrupts efforts to revive peace talks, and cautioned it could have grave consequences. Emmanuel Macron told Trump on Monday that the prospect of a unilateral declaration concerned him, and also reiterated that the city's status must be resolved through peace talks. On Sunday, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster told Fox News he didn't know whether Trump would move the embassy, though he did say doing so could be used to create momentum to broker an agreement. How that happens, I'm not so sure. That took me to 2 poems, Jerusalem by William Blake, and did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green? And was the holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen? And did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills? And was Jerusalem builded here among these dark satanic mills? Bring me my bow of burning gold, bring me my arrows of desire. Bring me my spear, O clouds unfold, bring me my chariot of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand, till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land. And then a poem, In Jerusalem by MAHMOUD DARWISH. In Jerusalem, and I mean within the ancient walls, I walk from one epoch to another, without a memory to guide me. The prophets over there are sharing the history of the holy, ascending to heaven and returning less discouraged and melancholy, because love and peace are holy and are coming to town. I was walking down a slope and thinking to myself, how do the narrators disagree over what light said about a stone? Is it from a dimly lit stone that wars flare up? I walk in my sleep, I stare in my sleep. I see no one behind me. I see no one ahead of me. All this light is for me. I walk, I become lighter. I fly, then I become another, transfigured. Words sprout like grass from Isaiah's messenger's mouth. If you don't believe, you won't be safe. I walk as if I were another, and my wound a white biblical rose, and my hands like two doves on the cross hovering, carrying the earth. I don't walk, I fly, I become another, transfigured, no place and no time. So who am I? I am number one in Ascension's presence, but I think to myself alone. The Prophet Muhammad spoke classical Arabic. And then what? Then what? A woman's soldier shouted. Is that you again? Didn't I kill you? I said, you killed me, and I forgot, like you, to die. So, as I said, Trump is to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel in a speech. I think this is a politically cynical, in the sense that the Palestinians have been ground into the dust and are powerless, decision. But it's waving a red flag. And there comes a point when people who believe they have nothing left to lose will be prepared to lose what they have left. So a very interesting decision. Well, not interesting, it's playing to his base. But I think the consequences of this decision will only be known and unfold over the next few days. US B-1B bombers joined the exercise in South Korea. The chatter appears to be inclining towards a preemptive strike. And I quote John Simpson, who says the US National Security Advisor McMaster says there's not much time left to prevent war with North Korea. Simpson says, I've got a nasty feeling it might happen. September 2017, I wrote a piece called The Screaming Comes Across the Sky. And I was quoting Thomas Pynchon. In particular, it features the quest undertaken by several characters to uncover the secret of a mysterious device called the Schwarz, the black device, slated to be installed in a rocket with the serial number 00000. As the world watches Pyongyang, I cannot help wondering if Kim Jong-un has read Pynchon, which speaks of a screaming coming across the sky. North Korea. It is a curve each of them feels unmistakably. It is the parabola. They must have guessed, once or twice guessed, and refused to believe that everything always, collectively, had been moving towards that purified shape latent in the sky. That shape of no surprise, no second chance, no return. Saleh famously likened leading Yemen to dancing on the heads of snakes. And indeed, Ali Soufan writes, his career resembled an intricate ballet in which he was never quite clear where the dancer would put his feet next. All indications are that the Houthis expected Saleh to turn on them and had long prepared for that eventuality. Their rallying cry as they moved into Sana'a was vengeance for Hussein al-Houthi, a reference to their former leader, killed on Saleh's orders 13 years ago. The dancer stumbled and the snake gobbled him up. Have a look at this map of the Middle East showing allies of Saudi Arabia and of its rival Iran. Deutsche Bank has received a subpoena from Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller over its dealings with President Trump. Demanded that Germany's largest lender share data on its client relationship with Trump, according to a person briefed on the matter. In the first week of August, I said any financial expert will tell you that President Trump's financial affairs are a smoking gun. And I was speculating that Deutsche Bank loans were surely mirror transactions, where Deutsche Bank was a commission agent interposed between Trump and the real lender. French President Emmanuel Macron's approval rating surged 6 points to 50%. This is a historical wave, Frederic Dabi. As I wrote over the weekend, Emmanuel Macron has given France back its mojo, in my opinion. And I was talking about Station F, which we visited, the world's largest startup incubator. I want France to be a startup nation, a nation that thinks and moves like a startup. If Macron makes it easier to get a visa, that will be great for me. As for the history stuff, I really don't care. This is in Algeria. This is the point I was also making, that the colonial struggle is a historical footnote for more than 80% of Africans. There are many African leaders who have relied on the laurels of their colonial struggle, but they are all exiting stage left. And I was referencing Mugabe and Dos Santos, and I'm saying Macron is helping to turn the page. Police arrested 2 men planning to blow up Downing Street gates and kill Theresa May. Professor Tom Plate says Xi Jinping is not making history, history is making him. They are the ones that are truly eternal, as is China. As for its current president, he is only of this moment, just like the rest of us. Keeping that in mind can keep us humble. My piece in August was called China Rising. Indeed it is. International markets, Bitcoin crossed 12,000 for the first time. It's now at 12,500. This is a parabolic move. 27th of November, I wrote a piece, Bitcoin, wow, what a ride. I was advising people to take profits on my recommendation at the beginning of the year. When I said the optimal portfolio at the moment looks like this, long Bitcoin, and then I said long Bitcoin and short gold. Today, each Bitcoin transaction requires the same amount of energy used to power 9 homes in the US for 1 day. Think about that. Currency markets, euro, dollar. Let me take a look. 118.24. Dollar index 93.28. Japanese yen strengthening 112.12. Swiss franc 0.9870. The pound 133.85. The Australian dollar, they printed third quarter GDP at plus 0.6 on the quarter, fell promptly, and now it's starting to recover, 75.92. India rupee 64.445. South Korean won 1092.62. Brazilian real 324.19. Egyptian pound 17.7660. South African rand below 1350. It's had a good run from 1440. That's all about the perception that Ramaphosa is now in the lead. It looks like another rough year for the dollar in 2018, says Bloomberg. Hawkish Federal Reserve and economy firing on all cylinders, the tentative revival of the Trump trade. All that won't be enough to boost the dollar next year, according to a chorus of Wall Street strategists. Beware of sleeping volcanoes and seriously undervalued currencies, says Kit Jukes. We think 2017 was a watershed year for the dollar, said Ned Rumpleton, currency strategist at TD Securities. And they're saying the dollar index has tumbled 8.6% this year, 25% above its 2011 low. And in real terms, the exchange rate is 5% above its 20-year average. Euro dollar, let me put up a chart from T Commodity. We're now at 118.24. Global funds are hunting for bargains in China's battered bond market. He says, Bloomberg, I like the photograph. Commodity markets, WTI crude oil, $57.28. It's off on a gasoline build reported yesterday. Gold, which everyone I'm following is very bearish, 1268. This was interesting. China dominates global aquaculture, producing $131.7 billion of farmed fish in 2015. Very interesting piece in Nicolás Maduro's Accelerating Revolution in the New Yorker. A very well-written piece. Venezuela's president has outmaneuvered his opponents. Can he survive an economy in free fall? And saying that, since 2013, when Maduro took over the presidency from Chavez, he has overseen a country in tumult. We know about that. Describing meeting him, led me to a glass cabinet, produced a sword. Holding it aloft, he said the sword was used by the liberator himself in the Battle of Carabobo. Maduro was not a natural leader. He had been steeped in the ideas of the revolution since childhood. He was born in a working-class neighborhood of Caracas in 1962, at a time when the Venezuelan left was entwined with the counterculture. Maduro said that he was a little bit of a hippie. He rode and crashed motorcycles, played in a band inspired by Led Zeppelin and John Lennon, and studied the teachings of the Indian mystic Sai Baba, who exhorted his followers to let love flow so that it cleanses the world. In politics, Maduro was more hard-nosed. I always remember the advice of old Kim Il-sung, who gave it to Fidel: grow your own rice. Your food has to come from somewhere near your kitchen, he said. 2 photographs that I picked up from Peter Frankopan: farewell, Istanbul, see you soon, and I'm in the Queen of Cities. It's a wonderful city to visit. South Africa's economy grew by 2% in the third quarter of 2017, after expanding by a revised 2.8% in the second quarter. Look at this, farming led the recovery from the drought, with 44.2% growth during the quarter. So that was an interesting development, and proves my point about farming being, having a huge bang for its buck and tremendous economic diffusion here in Africa. Get farming right, get a lot else right. South African all share up 16.43% year to date. Dollar rand, as I said, strengthening on the projection that Ramaphosa is going to win. New rumblings in the Horn of Africa over Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam. Interesting article. Egypt knows that it will forever remain dependent on Ethiopia in the event that the project is completed, which would in turn place the world's most populous Arab state and the GCC's top non-Gulf ally under the influence of Qatar's allies in Addis Ababa, implying that there's a high likelihood of proxy war. Nigerian all share up 43.24% the year to date. Ghana seeks $750 million loan to replace diseased cocoa trees. Ghana Stock Exchange up an eye-popping 48.6% year to date. Kenya's exports to East African countries declined, with the largest drop being registered in Tanzania. Tanzania cut imports from Kenya by 40.5 million to $134.2 million. I attended the mining conference on Monday, and Joe Schwarz of Base Titanium says Dan Kazumbu, the cabinet secretary, what he has achieved in mining is nothing short of phenomenal. Here I am seen with Joe just before we delivered our interventions. Markit Stanbic Kenya Purchasing Managers Index rose to 42.8% from 34.4, big rebound, but still below 50. Julius KIPNGETICH has resigned as Uchumi Supermarkets Chief Executive Officer. Uchumi share price is up 8.86% year to date. Dinis Holdings Limited set to acquire 38.36% of the ordinary shares in Express Kenya Limited. Acquirer intends to delist the company from the NSC. Express is up 5.633% so far this year. Nairobi all share up 29.97% so far this year. NSE 20 up 18.3% so far this year. Thank you, as always, for stopping by.